Do you want to set yourself apart from all the other applicants on your HireVue before you even answer your first question? Let's find out how that can be done. Okay, so let's jump right in. Mistake number 1, underestimating how unnatural and weird recording a HireVue can be. Excluding any HireVue style interviews you've done so far. Can you remember the last time you just recorded yourself answering things without anybody looking at you live? It's just a very weird experience. Even people who are great at face-to-face live interviews usually struggle with HireVues precisely because of this strange, unnatural environment. To solve this problem, you simply have to practice in an environment that is as close as possible to HireVues. A great place to practice for your video interview is to use Voomer, which has an environment very similar to what most video interviewing platforms look like. And you have hundreds of common video interview questions to practice on, and you get AI-powered feedback on your responses so you can improve very quickly. You know what they say, practice makes perfect, and practicing before the big day will definitely calm your nerves. Mistake number 2 is when people get distracted by looking at their own video on the HireVue. If you haven't done a HireVue before, when you're answering questions, there'll be a video feed of yourself. And what happens is that many people will break eye contact with the camera, they'll turn to their image on the screen and just get tripped up. Flip a toggle switch that's at the bottom of your camera video feed that turns off your video. So you're not looking at yourself on your screen and there's less chances of you being distracted. Mistake number 3, not thinking of examples ahead of time. HireVue interviews are all very similar to each other. If you've seen my video on how to answer any HireVue question, you'll understand why. Watch that video and it helps you come up with lots of examples that will help you when answering your HireVue interview. Have examples ready in your head so you don't panic while thinking of examples on the fly. By the way, if you feel like you're getting value from this video, please drop a like, comment, and subscribe. We're constantly pushing out new content that will help you get through your HireVue interview. And stop by tryvoomer.com where you can practice those questions in an environment that looks a lot like HireVues. Mistake number 4, not using the prep time in a strategic manner. In case you haven't done a HireVue before, after you're shown the question that you need to answer, you get a prep timer. And the amount you get kind of depends according to the company you're applying to, but consider that you'll have at least 60 seconds to prepare an answer. Those 60 seconds are extremely valuable, so you have to use them in a smart way. Have pen and paper next to you when you do the HireVue interview, and when you see the question, you're going to write down 3 bullet points. In the first bullet point, you write down one word that establishes the context of the situation that you're going to explain. So let's say you had a lousy teammate, so you're going to write teammate. On the second bullet point, you're going to write action. What action you took given that previous bullet point. So you had context, now what action did you take? So in this example, I came up with a development plan. So I'll write down development. The third bullet point, you're going to write down what were the results of your actions. But remember, you break that down into one word. So in our example here, let's say that this teammate did really well. So then we'll write down outperform. So now you have 3 keywords which are very easy and simple to remember in your mind. And if you panic, you can just glance down and you're not reading a sentence, you're just looking at one word. Those 3 bullet points are going to help guide your answer. So you use your prep time very strategically and you're ready to go as soon as the prep timer counts down to 0. The 5th mistake that people do is dragging out their answer. If you haven't done a HireVue before, you'll have a timer on how long you have to complete your answer. Usually it's about 3 minutes, but it can vary according to the company you're applying to. What you have to do here is remember the saying, less is more. If you can get your message across concisely and clearly, do that. Just because you have time left over doesn't mean that you have to drag out your answer and start using filler words and pauses and getting confused. Say what you have to say and press stop. The 6th very common mistake I see people do on their HireVues is to not research the company they're applying to. That's crazy. You're gonna miss out on great opportunities to use examples from your career, from your background, that match well with what the company is interested in. Its products, its philosophy, its principles, even its geographies. So make sure you research the company you're applying to so that your answers will stand out from the crowd that doesn't have the slightest clue what the company is about. And you'll be surprised how common that is. Let me know in the comments below if you've ever done a silly mistake that you really regret. And that's it. And as a final bonus tip, remember you can go to tryvoomer.com where you can practice for a HireVue for free on a platform that is very similar to many of the video interview platforms out there. You'll get to practice on hundreds of common video interview questions, and you get AI-powered feedback so you can improve your performance very quickly and stand out from the crowd. Good luck with your interview.